school's winter play, Radium Girls. Please silence all cell phones and pagers. We ask that you not take photos or videos. You may notice the video camera set up in the back. This is for our archives. Now, sit back, relax, and enjoy today's production of Radium Girls.
Sitting outside. It was that bright.
And that surprised you, Grace?
It was a factory. I thought it would be dark and dirty.
Then why go work there?
I was 15. It was time I paid my own way.
Pay your own way. What about school?
I didn't miss it so much. The girls were all so nice and the work wasn't hard. It wasn't like factory work, really. It was more like art. Painting those dials. We were artists.
I'm not really the one you should be talking to. Von Sashaki, he's the one you should talk to.
Now Arthur, you know he won't talk to us.
It was his process.
Tell me about that process, Arthur. You used a powder?
We used the powder. The girls mixed it in with an adhesive to make the paint. And that business with the brushes, I didn't invent that. They were doing that when I started there.
Well, you knew about it.
We all knew about it. Just didn't realize what it meant.
Today.
Is that bad?
Not for us.
She's gonna be sitting in this room all by herself, checking dials.
Poor thing.
Poor thing.
So we're gonna give her a little surprise.
Boo! Like a Cheshire cat.
Won't that make her mad?
Let her get mad.
That's half the fun.
I don't want to make her mad.
Oh, Grace, you can be that way about everything.
What way?
Your teeth, Grace. What's over your teeth?
You like Amalia, don't deserve it. She paints more dogs than any girl on the floor. Can't be bothered to talk to nobody either. You say, Amalia, what's new? And she just looks at you funny.
I don't think she can speak much English.
Wouldn't kill her to smile, would it?
She's coming.
Get the light.
Mrs. McNeil! Painting your faces! Have you gone off your minds?
It was just a joke.
Just a joke! A joke like that could lose a girl her job!
Now, Mrs. McNeil, I'm sure that's not necessary.
I don't tolerate no foolishness, Doctor.
Yeah, very good. Foolishness, we don't want, do we? Mr. Reader, this is the inspection room. All the dials come here that are painted. And these are some of the girls who should on the floor be working. Girls, this is Mr. Reader, my new vice president, and your new plant manager.
And I was just telling Mr. Reader what a fine bunch of girls we have here. I'm sure now he must think I'm halfway out of my mind.
Mr. Reader, perhaps you have some words for the girls. Mrs. McNeil?
Well, girls, this paint you've been playing with, it's very expensive. You realize this. It takes several tons of ore to produce a single gram of radium. That's a lot of work. Hard work for the men in the extraction plant. But they do this work gladly. You understand why? Why they work so hard? What we're all working for?
The war?
That's right, the war. These dolls you paint save lives, girls. Our boys on the field depend on them to read them in the dark, no mistaking what they see. Otherwise, some of those boys won't be coming home. So girls, if you play around and don't take the work seriously, you'll be playing into the hands of the Kaiser. And we don't want that, do we?
No, sir.
So let's get back to work now and leave calmly when we go home.
Mr. Reader, I just wanted to say I'm sorry. I won't do nothing like that ever again.
Well, dear, just keep this in mind. If you do right by us, we'll do right by you.
May 17th, 1921. Nancy Jane Harlan here for the New York Graphic, the New York Graphic's only girl reporter.
Jack Youngwood here for the Newark Ledger, New York's first source for news.
Madame Marie Curie, eminent French scientist, embarks on a whistle-stop tour of the United States.
First stop, New York City, where she is greeted by an enthusiastic crowd of well-wishers.
The High Priestess of Science is headed for Washington to receive a gift of 1 gram of radium, valued at $100,000.
Purchased for her by the members of the Marie Curie Radium Club, in association with 100,000 American women,
who each gave $1 to support humanitarian research with radium.
Face, over here. I read. Look, I got my certificate. Mentor Marie Curie Radium Club.
You gave him $1?
It's all for science.
Science? Put him on my room and board.
Look, there she is.
Welcome all. I must ask you, ladies and gentlemen of the press, please limit your questions. Madame Curie is about to embark on an exhaustive tour of the country, and she is under strict doctor's orders to rest. Although in the typical fashion of a scientist who thinks only of her research, her life's work, she has refused to rest.
Madame Curie, what will you do with the radium? What will you do with the radium?
I will continue my experiments to find better methods for the treatment of the cancer.
Is radium cure for all cancer?
The cancer? Yes, cure for the cancer. That is so. So they cure all kinds of the cancer.
But some doctors dispute that.
They do not understand the method. There is no question, radium will cure the cancer.
How have you managed to devote yourself both to science and to your children?
It has not been easy. But why not to share my gratitude for the American women and the interest in science and my work? I'm most grateful.
Madame Curie!
No more questions. Madame Curie's on a tight schedule. Mrs. Andrew Carnegie sent a car who will escort Dr. Curie personally, as will I, to Washington, where President Harding will present the gift of 1 gram of radium.
See that, Charlie? That is a marketing opportunity. Let's send her one of our customers in the war's watches. Courtesy, United States Radium Corporation. Look in the press release. Radium isn't just for scientists to study. The average American can share in its glory every night. Luminous watches, luminous clocks. Anyone who thinks these are just novelties, consider all the other advances that have taken place in the past 15 years. The electric light, the telegraph, telephone, the automobile, inventions all once dismissed as novelties, as toys,
are now essential to modern day life. Got it? They'll ought to sell some watches.
Watches, absolutely. But that's not where the growth is now, Charlie. You heard the lady. It's in the medical market.
And standard chemical owns it.
Only because Vaughn's is shocking less than take it. But if we wanted to, we could get half their business. It's just a matter of positioning.
Standard Chemical publishes its own journal. Sends out monthly to 10 customers. We can do something similar.
Something scholarly that the doctor would respect.
A bibliography listing every article we've ever published.
Or capture reports to save the doctor's time, to get the information, find it fast,
And help us think for
or
it.
send it to every doctor in the U.S. Radium Society.
Every doctor in the Medical Association.
That's the spirit, Charlie. Advertising. That's the way of the future. It's not just a product, it's the way you promote it.
have seen it, Grace. The church was filled with flowers, lilies, carnations, and orchids. You know how Amalia loved orchids.
Those weren't orchids.
They were orchids, Irene.
Black?
Orchids. I know an orchid when I see one. Purple orchids. Oh, and Grace, that smell. That smell. It was like...
Flowers?
No, it was like heaven. I was gonna say it was like heaven.
Like heaven? Catherine, it was just a funeral. You make it out like some Valentino picture.
It wasn't just a funeral. It was Amalia's. And it was beautiful. The church was like the botanical gardens. And the company sent a big spray of flowers too. Carnations.
Mums.
Yellow carnations.
Those were mums.
Well, it sounds like a nice service anyhow.
Girls, the Woodstock's already gone. Now then, I've received new instructions this day. We're going back to the old way of pointing the brushes. We are losing too much paint in the cloth. But yes, Grace, something you wish to say?
Dr. Bonchishaki told me not to do that. He said it's unsanitary.
Unsanitary? Well, I can't hardly believe he'd say such a thing. We've done this as long as I've been here. You must have misunderstood him.
Yes, ma'am.
And you're not to get new brushes until you've done with the old. And they have to be so bad they can't get a point no more.
Can't make quota like that.
Well, you do your best then, since I have my instructions.
I need a new brush.
It's not for us to ask questions, is it? It's for us to do the work.
I have my instructions, girls. I have my instructions.
Here's an instruction for you, McNeil. Lesson put a starch on your corset.
Was she at the service?
McNeil, are you kidding? Thinks you crossed the street for her own mother.
Most everyone else was there, though. You was about the only girl from the floor who wasn't there.
I wanted to come, but Mom was working and I had to watch the little ones.
You could have brought them. All 7. If it was me, I'd try to get there.
Just lay off. Grace feels as bad as it is.
Were many of the fellows there?
Yeah, lots of fellows from downstairs. Mr. Roth from the front office, Dr. Bonchishaki, and Mr. Reader, he was there.
And he left early.
So, he was there all the same. Oh, and Grace, you know that fellow from Crystallizing? The one with the red hair. You know who I mean. He was there.
Oh, the tall fellow with the freckles.
Yes, who snaps his fingers all the time. George.
Jerry.
I think it is George.
It's Jerry. Jerry Mallon. He's the one who's always talking to Amalia in the day room.
Oh, Grace, when the mass was over, he goes over to the coffin, and like this he goes, no. Yes.
Really?
Really.
For pity's sakes.
Well, he did, and no one could believe it.
So what if he did?
So what? He was in love with her. That's so what. Don't you think so, Grace?
Well, I guess he had to be if he did that.
And can you imagine? Can you imagine if he loved her so much and never got the chance to say, because she was so beautiful and he was so shy. And now it's too late. It's too late for the love is forever thwarted. He didn't get the chance to tell her he loved her, and he'll never get the chance to ever again.
Poor Amalia.
Poor Amalia.
Poor kid.
Her family took it awful bad too. Albina, Quinta, everyone was crying. Even her father crying so bad. I never seen a man cry like that before. Just bawling like a baby.
And you know why, too.
Is their daughter who died?
Where she died from.
Irene, don't go spreading stories.
It's not a story. Albina told us. No reason Grace shouldn't know.
No what? No what? Amalia?
Ain't it awful? Her father's fit to be tied too. 6 girls at home and ain't none of them gonna dance again.
Oh, because Amalia died from syphilis. Shh. I can't help it if that's what she died from.
You don't know that for sure.
It is on the death certificate.
Anemia and complications from syphilis.
But Amalia was ever so nice.
Guess she got around more than we knew.
Maybe it's a mistake. Maybe the doctor had it wrong.
Come on.
Doctors are wrong sometimes.
Doctor was wrong about Ivy.
What's Mama got to do with it?
Irene, don't you remember? Up to the day she died, doctor said she would be fine. She said get a good night's rest, take a cup of tea, and 2 days later we were taking her to Rosedale Cemetery.
Girls, your attention please. The gentlemen are here to make an announcement.
Thank you, Mrs. McNeil. Girls, we're here to put a few rumors to rest.
And to explain some changes, yeah?
Yes, as some of you may have heard by now, Dr. Bonchishaki is stepping down, and he wanted to take this opportunity
To make this goodbye, Mr. Reader has kindly consented. Some of you I've known since you were little girls, coming here during the war. Working so hard, day after day at the bench. 200, 300, some of you $500 a day. So excited to be part of our work here. But in this company I start, in my own kitchen, mixing up something, I knew I found something miraculous to make life better, easier. And now what do I read? More and more uses that offers the radio. More than I ever dreamed possible.
Thank you, Doctor.
Yes, thank you, Doctor. Now, girls, as the doctor's a busy man and must be on his way, let's wish him the best of luck on his new business ventures. Very good then, girl.
And Mr. Reader, let us good luck wish to you also. To the plate he steps as our new company president. Our congratulations to you.
Thank you.
When Mr. Reader came 4 years ago to us, I saw in him a young man with great enterprise and great ambition.
Yes.
Little did I guess the direction your ambition would take. But one of the things that makes this country great is the opportunity it presents to a young man and his friends.
And so,
ladies, let us wish Mr. Reader the very best in the new direction he intends the company to take.
New direction.
With the slowdown doctor business moving into the medical market, there's going to be lots of changes.
yeah, what the doctor is referring to is some of our larger customers are setting up their new Dalpane studio.
Which means less work for our girls here.
In the short run, things may be slower here. However, the Waterbury Clock Company in Connecticut will need help building this new Dalpane studio. We were intending to make an announcement next week. We'll make it now. Mrs. McNeil?
Well, we'll be asking some of you girls to go on up there.
The work is supervisory in nature, which means more pay. Do you have some girls in mind?
Louise Conlon was one, Sarah Deutsch, Lena McCarthy, and Catherine Shaw. I have the entire list downstairs. I'll post it today.
Fine. Say you have it, girls. As we are all on the clock, we'll leave you to your work.
Thank you, ladies. My best wishes to you.
That's back to work with you girls.
You gonna do it, Catherine? You gonna take the job?
Would you, Grace? Would you go to Connecticut?
Oh, I don't know. It's awful far from here. Tommy would have a fit.
Oh, come on. It'd be fun. Wouldn't it be fun, Irene? Irene?
Irene, huh?
You all right?
Huh? Yeah. Why wouldn't I be alright? What?
Your mouth is bleeding.
$35 a week, and she quits the place.
More to life than money.
That's what you say when you're young, Tom. But you and Grace get to be my age with a house full of your kids underfoot. You'll thank God for every penny you put by.
We got money to put by.
Really? How much?
Enough to get married on.
It don't take much to get married on. Do you have enough to stay married on?
Let's get married. We'll find out.
Are you still eating, Tommy?
It's good.
You're gonna get fat.
Gotta keep up his strength. He
works hard for his money. Don't start, Mom. I didn't say nothing. It was your father who hit the roof over it. He didn't hit the roof. You should have seen the man's face, Mom, when he found out Grace wasn't working no more. Most girls would give their eye teeth for a job like that. Good money, easy work, nice-looking fellas around the plant.
Oh, you didn't tell me about them, Grace.
Wasn't that many of them. Hardly. See, worth the mention. And she throws it all away for reasons unknown. I'm tired of it up there, she says. I'm tired of a paycheck, I says. Who needs a paycheck, she says. I got me a boyfriend to take me out on Saturday.
She said that?
You know I didn't. And for your information, I got a job. I started the bank on Monday. The bank. And how much does that take? Enough. Enough. Always enough. You know what that means, Tom. It don't even come close to what they were paying up at the Radium plant. It's office work. Office work. Well, I guess that means you'll be spending more money on clothes then.
Boy, she is really seeing that too.
I don't see what difference it makes so long as I work somewhere.
Doesn't make no difference to me. I just thought you liked her.
Sure. I liked it. I worked there 4 years.
So, I've been delivering mail for almost 8 years. And I plan to keep on delivering mail for another 20 or 30 years, if I'm lucky. Nothing like a steady work and a nice pension to help me sleep at night.
I don't have a pension and I sleep just fine.
Oh, I'm sure you do. So how come you quit, Grace?
Lots of girls are quitting. Work is slow. Besides, since Irene left, it just hasn't been as much fun. And wouldn't you rather have a girlfriend who works in a bank anyhow?
I'd rather have a wife who does not work anywhere.
Close your eyes. I got a surprise for you.
Yeah? You want me to pull the shade?
Not that kind of surprise. Close your eyes. Now look,
Wallpaper.
for the baby's room.
Baby's room? You won't kiss me? You're talking about babies?
There's gonna be babies eventually, Tommy.
Well, yeah, but Grace, those girls, they get married before they decorate the nursery.
Plan ahead for once. Pick one.
They're both the same.
No, they're not. This one has big flowers, and this one has little flowers. So pick one.
Is this some kind of test?
No, it's just wallpaper.
Ah, it is some kind of test.
Pick one, Tommy.
That one?
Really?
That one. They're both nice.
This one is pretty, don't you think?
That one then.
I want you to like it too.
If you like it, I like it. Wallpaper is wallpaper.
No, it isn't. You gotta pick something you can stand to look at for 20 years.
Let me think. Same way you pick a woman?
Keep it up, smarty kids. You won't ever get that kiss.
Okay, right. This one. This one hands down.
I like it too. A nice neutral yellow goes to either a boy or a girl. And until the time comes, we can use room for other things.
Yeah? Like what?
Like a painting studio, maybe?
A painting studio, maybe. Don't you get enough painting at work?
Not the kind I wanted to do, Tommy. I used to paint watercolors at school. And ever since I went to work, I don't have no time. But with helping Mom and watching the kids, once we're married, I just want some time. Just a little time to myself. So as I can do watercolors. Or oils, maybe. Maybe portraits in oil. I could paint your picture if you like.
Sure, why not? Paint a huge picture of me and we'll hang it in the outhouse. All of us will come to use the restroom so they can look at it.
Awesome.
Hey, if you want to paint pictures. I'm not gonna stop you.
You say that now, Tommy, but once we're married, you'll change your tune.
Sure, I'll be whistling.
Wait till you come home some night. Some Christmas maybe. Every customer on your roofs had 3 times the mail. And maybe some dog took after you. And some old lady kept you waiting on her stoop telling you about her grandchildren. And if you don't have the heart to tell her you can't talk, I know you. So you come home all cranky and late besides, hungry, wanting your dinner. And there I am, easel set up in the kitchen, drop cloth on the floor, my paint's all over the table. And your dinner? Nowhere in sight. What would you say then?
That better be a picture of me you're painting.
I know what you'd say. Where's my dinner? That's what you'd say. Where's my dinner?
Well, yeah, but I still admire the painting. Just want to look at it on a full stomach is all. Great. Come on. How did I do? Did I at least pick the red wallpaper?
I don't know. Maybe I'll go look at stripes.
Oh my, stripes! Polka dots! I don't care, Grace. Let's just get married. You're plenty old enough. Tell your mom we're not waiting no more. We'll just run off.
Honey, you're not running off. We're gonna do this right. A nice church wedding, flowers and music. And then a weekend to seashore. Just us. You'll see. It'll be worth the wait.
Did your mom hurt you?
Yeah. The dentist wants to pull another tooth from the back.
Hey, what's a tooth?
Hazel Curie. Any connection to the others?
Only by words of employment.
Except she's got a lawyer.
Knows how to read the letter anyway, that lawyer.
And she no longer works here?
Left 6 months ago.
This makes 4 now.
3.
4 if you count the Maja girl.
I wouldn't include her.
She worked here.
And she also worked other places. When she died from? Can't think of her. I don't think you can.
That's not funny, Charlie. Besides, that's just idle talk.
In my experience, there's usually something that I don't talk when people go like that.
From a large family, wasn't she?
Towns, the condition they live in, 10, 12 people, in 3 rooms. It is a wonder that they almost died of infection from another.
3 then. And how many dead?
Only Miss Maja, but I haven't heard from her people.
It's too late for them anyway. Statute of limitations is 2 years.
What?
Miss Kuzer is another story. She's in a position to make some trouble here.
And all the time that I've been here, no one has as much as slipped on the floor. And now this?
We are talking about 4 girls. Out of how many hundreds have you employed?
600, 700 over the years.
And some of them are sick. Even that one girl you hired was completely crippled. Couldn't even climb the stairs. Her father carried her every morning.
It didn't make any difference to me how she got up the stairs. She was a fast worker and a very sweet little girl.
But she was in poor health.
She needed the work, Charlie. And not just for the money, to be productive, to have a purpose. That's what work does, Charlie. It gives us a purpose. I don't see any reason why we should stop hiring girls like that.
And when they get sick and try to blame us for it, never do that policy.
Let's see what Dr. Drinker has to say.
Dr. Drinker?
A professor of the Harvard School of Industrial Hygiene.
He chairs the department, and he's agreed to take a look at our operations.
But don't you think we're jumping the gun a bit, hiring him?
We've had 6 girls quit this week, and Mrs. McNeil tells me there could be more.
Girls come and go all the time.
It's never been like this. These girls are terrified. We've got to do something to calm them.
And letting Drinker examine them? That's not something like a breast people not experience.
We'll tell them it's a routine physical. Edward?
Companies get physicals all the time.
Then Drinker will start next month.
In the meantime, I recommend we make an offer to Miss Kuzer.
Settle?
No proof her calls are connected to us.
If she sues, believe me, you won't like the publicity it brings. And neither will your investors.
You do look at the stock offering.
Don't you?
Wonderful. We'll open at 30, close at 10.
Or not open at all.
But give this girl something that will keep her quiet.
It would be a condition of the settlement.
Maybe better do it.
Suppose the lawyer has a racket going, he finds sick girls and talks them into making suits, then we reward him for his larceny.
Unless Miss Kushner genuinely believes she got sick from here.
It could be like Charlie said. She comes from a large immigrant family, not well educated, not a lot of resources.
A few $100 would make a big difference to a girl like that.
Certainly. Pay a few doctor's bills. Buy some medicine. From the sound of that letter, I don't think the girl has long to live anyway.
So it would be a gesture of decency then.
Exactly.
What do you think we should offer?
March 24, 1924. Jack Youngwood reporting for the Newark Ledger.
Nancy Jane Harlan for the New York Graphic, the Graphic's only girl reporter.
Could radium water pills a cure for crippling arthritis? Scientific studies suggest a connection.
Dateline, Orange, New Jersey. Radium water products offer a miracle cure for crippling arthritis.
When some people reported a significant abatement in their symptoms.
Mrs. Jeremy Michaels of the Bronx tells how radium water transformed her life. My pain got so bad I couldn't hardly bend over.
While others only reported mild relief.
This poor, brave woman could not even bend down to kiss her little ones goodnight.
I got 3. Let me tell you, they are a handful.
Dr. Harrison Martlin, Chief Examiner for the Essex County, commented on this study.
Preliminary at best.
Your recommendations, Dr. Martlin?
I advise further study. Further study.
Then, Mrs. Michaels tried Radium.
They said it would help my rheumatism. So I drank a bottle a day for a month. Wasn't cheap, but I was desperate.
The test sample was questionably small.
Well, first off, I felt like I'd been hit by a bolt of lightning. It was that powerful. Now I drink a bottle a week just to maintain my health. I hang laundry and scrub the kitchen floor same way I always done.
Dr. William J.A. Bailey of Orange, inventor of Radiator, reports strong demand for his product.
Dr. William Bailey of Orange announces sales of Radiator exceed 100,000 cases worldwide.
Radioactivity is one of the most remarkable agents in medical science. I drink Radiator myself, and I can vouch for its power.
A bottle a day?
At $1 a bottle?
Worth every penny.
Yes, indeed. I myself was a picture of blood surgery before I discovered the amazing vitalizing qualities of radium water. Now looking, I'm nearly 50 years old, so I have the energy of a man in his 30s.
You rather look like a man in his 30s.
My thanks.
A testament to the tonic's potency.
Or to the seller's creativity.
Radiator is perpetual sunshine.
And a perpetual money machine for its inventor.
Is there no end to what science can do?
Maybe we should have made an appointment.
Don't need no appointment.
It's a busy place, Catherine. If you don't have an appointment, maybe you should make one.
I shouldn't need an appointment for this.
I'm sorry. I don't find anything on your shop.
No, it's Rudolph.
Rudolph?
The girl I'm asking about, Irene Rudolph.
Did she file the complaint?
No, the dentist did.
The dentist.
Dr. Nett, Irene's dentist. He said that she might have faulty jaw and that he was going to file a complaint to the health department about it. But when I asked him, he said he hadn't heard of it. And it's been more than 6 months now.
Fossey John?
Yes.
Catherine. It could have been like your doctor said, a blood infection.
But what caused it? What was it from?
From dirt? You can get infection from dirt.
From dirt. Her face puffed up like a pumpkin. You think you get something like that from a little dirt? You get it from phosphorus. They're telling everyone it's radium in the paint, but it's really phosphorus that makes it glow.
Honestly, Catherine, you can't really believe that.
Grace, you saw her.
Happy, if it was like you saying, it would never let you work up there in the first place.
Sure, they just shut the place down.
Shut it down. Who? Who's gonna shut it down?
I don't know, the county?
Honestly, Grace, don't be so ignorant.
Hey.
How are they gonna shut it down if they don't know about it? Ever think of that?
Come on.
It's all right, Tony.
You have no business talking to you like that.
She's just upset.
Upset? She's gone completely around the bend. She probably means dumping arsenic in the drinking water now. What's next? Kidnapping babies and using them to stoke the furnace?
Go ahead and laugh now. You won't laugh so hard when it's you coming in here 6 months from now asking after prayers.
Crying out loud.
Catherine, it's just a toothache.
Yeah? That's how it started for Irene. Just a toothache. You wait, Grace, you wait. You'll wake up one morning, your guts hurting so bad you won't be able to open your mouth. So weak and sick, you won't be able to stand up. The pain's so bad you won't be able to eat or sleep. Your face will smell
Okay,
so
stop it. Grace is fine. Right, Grace?
Irene Rudolph.
That's it.
She worked at the radium plant?
Yes, ma'am.
Nothing.
Huh?
The company is in full compliance.
Let me see that.
Miss, please.
Who's Miss Young?
She's the help.
Paint is harmless compound of radium and zinc.
As I was saying, the analysis that they did for her shows that there's no phosphorus in the paint. There's no phosphorus anywhere in the plant.
There. You see, Catherine?
Miss Young toured the plant herself and found nothing amiss. I'm sorry.
I guess we could go get some lunch then?
I'm gonna file another complaint.
They already did. That's
I'm gonna file another complaint!
Catherine, these folks are awful busy here.
I'm gonna file another complaint.
I just don't see what good this is gonna do. To make such a fuss this way.
Grace, 3 surgeries, and they wanted to cut her again. She finally said no. She knew. Her jaw had rotted so bad the smell was terrible. And Grace, the worst of it is, I couldn't look at her. Irene was so afraid of being left alone. But I left her. When she died, it was the middle of the night, and no one was with her.
Miss,
Another complaint? Is the girl still sick?
No, she died.
Wait right here.
Harriet, you'll come down from that tree at once.
I'm waiting for Papa!
Fine, when he gets here, I'll send him up after you.
There he is! Papa! Papa!
Harriet,
Harriet, come down at once.
Papa, I can see clear the church!
can you? Do you see your grandfather?
No, but I see the schoolhouse!
You think this is funny?
She's enjoying herself.
Harriet!
Tell you what, she has no one to shout to. She won't shout.
They can hear her all over the neighborhood.
Can they?
When she comes down, I want you to speak to her.
She's 9 years old, Diane.
Trying to raise a daughter, not a son.
Time is on your side. In another year or two, you lose all interest in trees and develop a fascination with boys.
That's supposed to scare me.
And when that day comes, you'll be frantic because she no longer wants to plant trees.
What's this?
Something to give you vitality.
You think I need vitality?
That's what it says on the bottle.
Is it pure?
We're his supplier. Want to try it?
Well, if it'll give me vitality, how can I refuse? Your father came by to see me tonight.
Another hard luck case.
4 children at home, all under the age of 6.
Let me guess. Wife in the hospital with cancer?
Yes.
And the husband's been laid off from, let's see, the brickyard?
Yes.
Through no fault of his own?
How did you know?
Dad was around to see me yesterday. It's never enough with him, just to have ordinary ambitions. You have to have a mission in life.
And you do.
No, I have a business plan.
You can't tell me you would help this man if you could.
If I could, but I can't give him a job that doesn't exist.
What about Dan Lehman?
Dan,
Maybe he could use some help?
in the laboratory, Dan needs trained technicians, not a bricklayer. Why don't you send him to Mrs. Middleton? Don't you women have a social club for things like this?
You mean the Women's Club Civics Committee?
Right.
Yes, the club takes an interest in such cases, but we're not an employment office either, which is why I thought you could help him.
You love being married to the company president.
It has its advantages.
Everything is trading it in.
Do you?
I got my shoes shined this morning. And while I sat there and watched the boy work, I thought, this is quite an enterprise. The work walks in, the work walks out. No inventory, no warehouse, no health inspectors, no stock price.
You'll trade it all in for your own shoe shine stand.
Fewer headaches that way.
So you're in one of those moods again. What could it be this time? It can't be the market. It went up today.
Now you're reading the financial pages.
I have to entertain myself somehow. So, what happened today? You're being very strange.
Emma,
You can tell me.
nothing to tell, really. It's going to be our best year ever.
So it's the prospect of success that you find so disheartening.
Get my checkbook.
What for?
Your bricklayer.
Artie, he needs a job, not charity. What is it your father says? A working man needs to work.
It wears on the soul, not to work. Well, if it's a matter of the soul, that's different. All right, I'll have him talk to Dan. But I make no promises, Diane.
No promises.
To your help.
How long have you had this dreaming?
A week or two? That's something awful, Dr. Man.
Is there anything else bothering you?
Back hurts some too.
Your back hurts now? Have you seen your regular doctor?
He says it's nerves.
Nerves?
About my leg, you know?
This is not a case of nerves. I hope your doctor knows that.
What do you think?
I think you should schedule that surgery.
Couldn't we put it off just a little? Until after my wedding?
If you don't have that surgery, you will not have a wedding. Miss Fryer, I want you to listen to me. That's the black, your job on that's the black pus coming out of your gums. It's the bone itself.
That's impossible.
To Mr. Arthur Reader, Radium Corporation from Cecil Drinker, Harvard University, encloses our report.
Finally!
We believe the trouble in your plant is due to the radium.
Radium?
It can't be as bad as all that.
This can't be.
Put off that surgery and you will develop a septic condition. It could be fatal.
The blood change in your employees can be explained on no other ground.
Everything I got, I saved for my wedding.
Heavy fogging carried by employees. Photographer films.
Well, I got a suggestion for you.
We spent high levels of gamma radiation throughout the plant.
Go to the radium plant and explain your situation.
Go to the company?
We realize no proof can be offered at the present.
Once they see what kind of shape you're in,
This is impossible.
they have to feel obligated to help you out.
In a review of the material of the literature,
It's a mistake.
and the facts disclosed by our report,
I don't see how they could refuse.
we recommend immediate direct remedial action.
Listen, if you want, I'll write to them for you. They can work for me, just pay my bills for it.
You think they do that?
Charlie!
They have a moral obligation, don't you think?
I guess so.
We'll do it right now. I'll just pay.
He has to be wrong. That's all. He's wrong. Charlie, he has to be wrong.
He must have overlooked something.
If we're suffering from a new ailment caused by radium, it should occur generally throughout the plant.
One would expect.
Several hundred milligrams are in solutions at all times in the big vats. Several hundred milligrams in the ore. Several hundred milligrams in crystallizing.
The entire backyard is filled with talent.
Radium is present in good amounts all over the property.
Is the radium is some kind of combination of disease?
Or something peculiar to our plant alone.
Some kind of bacteria, perhaps, in the brushes.
Can't be the radium. There are dozens of application plants across the country, and none has ever reported anything like this.
The Department of Labor will see this report.
Yes, I'm aware.
How do we answer them? This tears us to pieces.
They want to see the report? We'll send them this.
One
The
page?
most important page.
You're gonna never stand for this.
Drinker works for us. This is a proprietary report. What we do with it is our business.
They can shut us down for this.
We just need time, Charlie. Just a little time.
Arthur, they can shut us down for this.
Scientists, government men, they have no idea what it takes to run a business. Von Shocky thought advertising was a dirty word. I can't tell you how many times I walked into that man's office and he turned a deaf ear to everything I told him. But Charlie, we showed him. We showed him. Look at us. We're the largest single supplier of radium. The largest in the world. You know what it took for us to get here. Do you think I'm gonna stand idly by and let our good name be dragged through the mud? Trust me, Charlie.
Dr. Flynn, it's awful nice of you to come all this way.
Not at all, my dear. Not at all.
I told my surgeon he was coming over here, so he gave me the results of my blood work.
Excellent.
And so?
I must say, Miss Fryer, your blood looks better than mine.
It does?
That's what happens to an old man who smokes. Now, tell me, what else has been bothering you?
My feet and my back, mostly. I've had to wear a brace for quite a while now.
So I see. And this happened before you left the company or after?
After I left. Dr. Neff says this all has to do with the radium plant somehow. Another girl I worked with, she died from it. Irene Rudolph.
Ah, yes. Terrible thing. Vincent's angina.
What's that?
That's an ulcerated condition of the mouth, my dear.
From the radium?
Oh, no. A rare and unfortunate result of poor dental care. So let this be a lesson to you. Always brush your teeth.
There was something else in the paper about this. About other girls who got sick. One girl I worked with for a while, she's in the hospital in New York and the doctors don't know what to do. They've never seen anything like it.
Miss Breyer, don't tell me you pay any attention to the papers. Those stories are not scientific.
Reporters are not scientific. They do not follow scientific methods. They write to sell, not to educate. The scientist is not concerned with what sells. He is concerned with the truth. He undertakes years of painstaking study to arrive at an understanding of intricate natural processes that most people could never presume to comprehend. You would do well to listen to science and ignore the nonsense that is printed in the newspapers, because I can tell you right now, radium has nothing to do with what's ailing you.
It doesn't?
Not in the least.
Then what is ailing me?
Poor diet, Miss Fryer. Poor diet.
But Dr. Neff said...
Dr. Neff is a dentist, not a physician. What you have is a vitamin deficiency. You must eat more fresh fruit.
Hard to do in winter.
And raw meat as well. That will help with the anemia. Raw calf's liver particularly. Cook it if you must, but eat it twice a month at a minimum. I'm a scientist, Miss Fryer, and I take a purely scientific interest into this situation. By allowing me to examine you, you're helping me advance my own studies. I thank you. Call me anytime, day or night.
Okay, Dr. Flynn. Thanks.
Happy to be of service, my dear.
Dr. Frederick Flynn, PhD, Physiology, Columbia University. PhD? That's not a real doctor.
My findings, Mr. Reed.
He's seen half a dozen girls who used to work at the plant. Word I hear, he's working for the company.
An objective evaluation, I trust?
The source of my funding has no bearing on my research.
And I let the fellow examine me.
I didn't examine her, per se. It was not a medical examination, per se.
Nevertheless, you were able to offer her some useful advice?
I did my best for her.
Every girl he sees, it's the same thing. Nothing wrong with you.
Your blood's better than mine, he says.
How are you doing with the rest of the report?
The animal studies I conducted revealed no adverse effects from radium. The problem, as you suspected, was one of personal hygiene only.
How can someone do something like that? Straight out lie to you like that?
Nothing surprises me.
It's exactly the way you said, Catherine. These people will say anything. Will do anything.
Except the right thing.
Well, we're gonna make them, Catherine. We're gonna make sure someone hears about this.
I'm most grateful, Dr. Flynn. I'm particularly grateful that the young lady you examined is doing so much better.
Didn't examine her, merely consulted with her.
All the same, she's doing much better. Isn't that so?
From what I can see, Mr. Reader, she appears to be on the road to recovery.
Excellent.
Here is my statement of fees and expenses.
Mr. Lee will draw you a check.
club?
No, ma'am.
Are you a guest in November?
No, ma'am, but Miss Wiley.
And I'm sure Mrs. Wiley would be happy to see you during her regular business hours.
I'm not leaving till I see Miss Wiley.
It's all right, Mrs. Middleton. It's fine. You must be Miss Fryer.
Yes, ma'am. Miss Young from the health department said I should come see you. I know I should have stopped by your office, but I've been awful busy lately and I've missed so much work.
No need to apologize. I had been meaning to call on you myself.
Me and Catherine. We wrote to the company about our troubles, but we never heard anything, so we went to see a couple lawyers, but they all said they can't do anything because it's been so long since we left the company. Something about the law won't allow it.
The statute of limitations.
Right. And this one lawyer, he said he would try to sue anyhow. Only he wants $1,000 up front. I already spent everything I saved for my wedding on doctors and dentists and hospitals, and they still don't know what's wrong with me exactly. And Tom, that's my fella, he says he don't care. He wants to get married anyhow. Only, I just wonder what good I can do him. Like this. Miss Wiley, if I could just get some compensation, maybe I could settle my debts and I wouldn't feel like I was saddling Tom with such a burden. I'm sorry to write a lot to you about these things. I'm just so tired of being pushed around.
I don't blame you.
Miss Young at the health department. She said the Consumers League has, what did she say, clout?
I'd like to think so. We've certainly had our share of successes.
Can you help us then?
Tell me, Miss Fryer, just how far are you willing to go with this?
Ma'am?
Suppose I do find a lawyer to take your case. Someone willing to take it on a contingency. You wouldn't have to pay him unless you won. Would you be willing to sue?
I want my compensation.
Of course you do. Now, suppose the company says, here's some money for you, Miss Fryer. Only you are to tell no one what we've agreed to. You are to say nothing about how you got sick.
Keep quiet, you mean?
Yes.
That don't seem right.
It isn't right, but that's what they'll do. They will try to buy your stylist. Is it for sale, Miss Fryer?
No. No, ma'am, it isn't.
Good.
So, can you help us?
I think I can help you, if you're willing to take some chances.
Chances?
Miss Fryer, you would be willing to set aside your own need just for the moment? We can put a stop to that company. We can stop them dead in their tracks.
What do I have to do?
We start by putting you on page 1.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Page 1? You want to talk to the newspaper?
Not just one newspaper, many newspapers.
Is that really necessary? All we want for Grace to have a conversation.
Tommy, let her finish.
I understand your concerns, but this company has already shown its willingness to go to extremes to protect itself. No, I'm afraid the only way we'll get to them is to hit them where it matters most. Their public image. When every newspaper in America tells your story, how you were sorely treated, how you suffered, how the company denied all responsibility. Believe me, Miss Fryer, when that happens, Arthur Reeder will come to the table with his hat in his hands.
All right, Miss Riley.
I know it's a little frightening.
It's all right. Right now I'm more angry than I am scared.
Good. You hang on to that anger, Miss Fryer. You're going to need it. Only, be sure no one else sees it.
Ma'am?
Public sympathy, Miss Fryer. That's our strongest weapon. And the public doesn't have much sympathy for an angry woman.